What's up, Totem Pole Nation? Welcome back to First or Last. We are recapping the Kansas race that just finished. Kyle Larson, you can see it in the title. He came home with the dub, thousandth of a second or less. You guys can be the judge. Look at the picture, look at the video. It's the second race this year we've seen decided by an inch or less. We'll get into the details of all of that. We'll get into who we were impressed by, whether or not our picks came true or not. Spoiler alert, they didn't. And we'll get into some disappointments as well. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Our socials are scrolling below. If you want to hit us up with any ideas of what to talk about next, we'll be all ears to listen to that. TotemPoleNation.com is a place to go to get some gear, support the boys, like that hat, other hats, t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeves, whatever you need, it's all there. Let's get into the Kansas recap right now.
All right, so to start, man, I called Ford getting their first win of the year at Kansas. I called Noah Gragson. Spoiler alert, I was wrong on that. Also, spoiler alert, as you can tell, Ford did not win. Kyle Larson took the win by 1,000th of a second. And honestly, when you look at pictures, it looks a hell of a lot closer than that. But the top two are going to be Kyle Larson and Chris Buescher.
Yes, sir. Let me get this loaded up right here. Chase Elliott finishes third. Martin Truex Jr. is the first Toyota to finish in fourth.
Keep going, Matt. Mine's not.
I got you. Yeah, no problem. Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell, fifth and sixth. Alex Bowman and Kyle Busch, two Chevys right there, finishing seventh and eighth. Tom's pick, Noah Gragson, finishing ninth. My pick to disappoint everybody today was Michael McDowell, and he didn't do that. Top 10, nothing went wrong for him. First time all year. Brad Keselowski worked his way up from 30th, I believe, to 11th. Ryan Blaney, similar thing. Started close to the 20, if not in the 20s. Came home 12th. John Hunter Nemechek. Got to be one of the best finishes for Legacy all year, coming home 13th. Todd Gilliland finished 14th, and Josh Berry rounds out your top 15. Notable names outside of that, we got Bubba finishing 17th, involved in a wreck at some point, but was able to fight his way back. My pick to win today was Ross Chastain, who finished 19th. Did not come to fruition there. He had some trouble on pit road. Tyler Reddick, the fall race winner from last year, coming home 20th. Let's see. Outside of that, William Byron was never able to work his way up. He finished 23rd. Ty Gibbs, 32nd, a lap down. Disappointing finish. Joey Logano, 34th, 2 laps down. Austin Cindric wrecked early. And also Jimmy Johnson, who started in the top 20. No one, I don't think, had like high hopes for him today, but he just got bulldozed, wrecked out of the race. Not his fault whatsoever, but he finishes in dead last.
Yeah, just speaking on the Jimmy Johnson situation. So it looked to me from video, obviously watching the race, that Bubba Wallace had some kind of issue, got loose or something. There was a little bit of tire smoke. I think Jimmy got worried that there was going to be a wreck. So he then proceeded to get out of the gas to avoid a bigger situation. And the 7 car of Corey LaJoie just did not slow down at all and just bulldozed him, like you said. So tough break for Jimmy. Honestly, I'm not going to lie, I had some high hopes with him running that well in qualifying, and obviously practice decent too. So I had some high hopes. Maybe 7-time would run, top 15. I didn't expect him to win by any means because Legacy Motor Club, if you haven't watched any of the episodes, have been absolutely horrible this season, including John Hunter Rekachek, who was inside the top 10 with, overtime. When overtime started, quickly fell back to 13th, as mentioned before. And then Corey Heim was up there too, and he fell back all the way to 22nd. So we knew they didn't have cars to run up there. Some strategy play got them to that point, but then they couldn't hold on at the end of the race.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll go over a few little. All the cautions happened in the third period, right? In the third stage. So we're not gonna dive too far into what happened before that, but like I mentioned, some pit road issues for Ross. Denny had a few pit road issues. That's not important. What's important here is we just got probably the second best finish that we've gotten this year and a top 5 finish of the past probably 5 years. I mean, I can't remember a season in recent memory that has had 2 finishes like this in the same year. I mean, it's insane. It's so much so, like when people post that meme or the gif from the movie Cars with the tongue sticking out, it's like, oh, damn, like that's fun. That doesn't happen that often. And we've gotten it twice this year. Obviously, Buescher thought he won. Kyle didn't know. And then the official word comes in. I'll let you get into your diagnostic of how that ended. But I will say, I thought Denny had it. Now, if the green stayed out, there's no telling whether or not Martin, I think Martin probably would have hawked him down. We would have had a hell of a finish, but I don't know if Denny had enough gas to really compete with him in that spot. So the caution was a blessing for Denny as well. Comes off of pit road, and we got shit on the grill. How do you let that happen coming off of pit road? I don't know. And I could just be putting the blame on someone else. Like maybe that kicked up onto the grill once he was out of his stop. But coming off of pit road, having debris in your grill is just inexcusable to me. So that sucks. I thought this was Denny's race to lose. Ultimately, he lost. And Chris Buescher had a good car all day. And we were on the phone during this. I called it. I was like, well, Buescher's had a good car all day. Like that's fine. And then Kyle just comes out of left field, banging doors, and they come across the finish. So I'll let you get into that. I know you have stronger feelings about it than I do.
So obviously, I picked the Ford the preview, so I was ride or die. I'm a Stewart-Haas guy. Obviously, y'all know my feelings about Stewart-Haas and the things that need to change. And one of those I think is the manufacturer. So we'll just leave it be. There's other videos where I get into detail about that. But I called a Ford winning. Buescher was up front. And I thought, he gave Kyle a little bit of room, tried to race him clean. Kyle, the first bump, okay, cool, no big deal. But then I watching it back in replay, I think Kyle took a left into Buescher's door, which is what slowed him down enough to obviously win by 1,000th of a second. And then two, you look at those other 2 guys that were in third and fourth, they all finished within 1/10 of a second of the lead. I mean, if you truly dive into it, like I think Martin wins it. No caution flag. Martin hawks Denny down, passes him, and wins the race. Denny comes home second.
Yeah.
Buescher comes home third. Kyle Larson comes home fourth. Obviously, with the Kyle Busch spin, things change a little bit. But I think as a whole, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Buescher should have won the race. And the scoring loop had Buescher winning. When they crossed the start finish line, we were on the phone. You can attest to it. I said Buescher won.
Yeah.
From the aerial picture looking down at the start finish line, Buescher was ahead. Obviously, side shots, you call it what you want to. Larson got him. I'll just be honest, the way I see it, Larson got him. And it's literally by, the tip of the splitter.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even the whole splitter or the nose, or it's literally, quite frankly, that close.
No, and the funniest thing about it is if like they were running the next gen cars from 2011 or so that had the big spoilers and the huge splitters, like if they were running that car versus the new gen, Buescher wins. That's the difference.
I think as a whole, like Ford stepped up today. Now, granted, the results don't look that way, but I think Ford has figured out, and this is Ford as a whole. This is not just one team or one car or whatever. But I think Ford, obviously, bunch of cars inside the top 15. I think they can run on the 1.5-mile tracks with these Chevys and with these Toyotas. They
Yeah.
run well at restrictor plate tracks, and then get caught up in wrecks or whatever. I mean, there's been several different instances of, McDowell causing the big one at Talladega. I can't remember who it was wrecking at Daytona. So
Everybody.
I mean, they can run on these mile and a halfs and these restrictor plates. I think their problem is going to be these short track races. But I think Ford is slowly starting to figure it out now, 12 races into the year of, hey, we can compete and we can hang with these guys. Obviously, it's still a Chevy Toyota stronghold as far as the results, with Ford not winning. And like you mentioned in the preview, we're only a year away from Ford winning all three of the top series in NASCAR.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
12 races in and they don't have a win.
Yeah. To your point, though, if you just look at the results for face value, it doesn't look like that they really had the best week comparing the three manufacturers. But obviously, Buescher finishing second is great. Gregson staying inside of the top 10, great. Michael McDowell not having anything go wrong for once, great. But you look behind that, Brad, like I mentioned, moved up from 30th. Blaney had moved up from low 20s. Josh Berry, the rookie, top 15. Todd Gilliland in that same crew with McDowell, where it just seems that every week, it doesn't matter how good or bad that they are running, something is going to go wrong and mess up, their race weekend. So to your point, it looks like things are shifting a little bit because instead of seeing things go horribly wrong, now obviously Joey didn't have a good day, but we've seen guys start making progress instead of regression.
So Joey wrecked too. So that's obviously wrecking kind of put him behind the 8 ball. But I think the outliers for Ford, and let's just call it kettle black, or pot call it kettle black, right? I mean, it is what it is. Let's look at this face value. Those Rick Ware cars are not helping Ford as a whole. That Wood Brothers 21 of Harrison Burton is definitely not helping Ford when it comes to the results side of it. But even, okay, well, that's small teams. Let's look at the big teams. And I mentioned this in the preview video. Ryan Preece has got to go. I'm a Stuart Haas guy, but he has done nothing in the last 2 years that proves that he should stay in that 41 car. I don't know who the replacement is, but
I think the replacement could be that there is no replacement, and that's the charter that you off, right? That's the one that you bargain to teams.
Become a 3-car team and sell that one to Legacy or whoever wants it. Yeah. I know Legacy's tossed their name in the hat, but I think they need to focus on their team.
They need to focus on the cars they got. Yeah. They don't need to add something else.
Maybe it's like the one video, maybe that's the charter that Dale Jr. buys.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how Dale Jr. gets in, is buying that 41 charter and running it through him becoming a part of Stuart Haas and basically owning that one car, but still being under that Stuart Haas mantra. I know that's not what Junior fans want.
It's a step,
I think what Junior wants, but I think it's time for Stuart Haas to reevaluate their talent. And really by reevaluate, I just mean fire Ryan Preece at this point, because Josh Berry's a rookie. Like, I expect him to be up and down. Noah Gregson's only in his second year. He didn't run all the races last year because he had that social media incident. So I'm good with him. Yeah. Chase Briscoe needs to figure it out too. Like, he's another one that's close to the chopping block, but he's an Indiana boy. He's got leash,
his leash is a little longer.
He has a legit sponsor. Those other two don't. I mean, their sponsors are changing week to week, and Josh Berry has no sponsorship money.
No, they run that damn overstock.
Yeah. That's his only true sponsor. So, I mean, I don't know. I think there needs to be a reevaluation, and it's not just Stuart Haas, because I think that 21 car needs a change. I don't think Harrison Burton is the answer. And those Rick Ware cars suck. I think he needs to sell both of his charters.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, brother. Well, that is the recap. You got anything else to add for the people?
No, man, maybe Ford figures it out next week. But I don't have too high hopes. I think it's where we at next week.
Next week we
Darlington.
Oh,
The throwback weekend at Darlington. So I don't know. Maybe they figure it out, but obviously hopes are not being fulfilled at the moment. But I'm gonna keep my train rolling with Ford figures it out.
I got you. So next week is throwback week, right? So that's when we're gonna see the
throwback
the Mark Martin scheme, So what's confusing me there is Denny historically runs the Sports Clips cue ball paint scheme at Darlington like every year. So I don't know what they're pulling out of the hat next week, but
so I know.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Stewart Haas cars, Briscoe's running like a family scheme, kind of a throwback to his dad. Josh Berry's running. Actually, this is really cool. Josh Berry's running a throwback scheme to Rodney Childers' Pro Late model.
Damn.
So that's kind of cool, honoring his crew chief. Ryan Priest is running like a family scheme. So they all went family scheme wise, other than Gregson. I haven't seen his yet. I don't know what they're pulling out of the hat with the 10 car. Maybe it'll be that Serve Pro Danica Patrick throwback. We'll get that ugly thing back. But I don't know. And there's been some good ones. Like I know Bowman's running a Jimmy Johnson throwback.
Yep. That one looks great.
Elliott's running a Dale Jr. throwback. Obviously, Larson's running the Labonte throwback.
That's what it is. Not Mark Martin. It's Terry. That's right.
So there'll be some good schemes. The paint scheme portion of that video, we might have to make a
whole video for it. Yeah,
that's gonna be crazy. A lot to talk about, but man, I'm excited. See if Ford figures it out, and obviously Chevy keeps the train rolling here again another week. And Toyota again, 3 cars inside the top 5. So
yeah, nothing new.
Inside the top 10.
First or last, we'll be back with the Darlington preview at the end of this week. Thank you guys for watching. We hope you enjoyed that race. I mean, you know that we did. Good Lord, that thing was crazy. And maybe we got more crazy finishes in store. As always, like, comment, subscribe, visit Totem Pole Nation, get some gear, hit up our socials below if you have any ideas of what you guys want us to talk about within the NASCAR realm next. And until next time, this is First or Last. Peace.